Hello, friends. This is Dr. Bhavani Shankar, and we are dealing with industrial sociology. Today, my dear friends, we'll be discussing about methods of settlement of industrial dispute. In the previous class, we have discussed about disputes which arise within the industry. We also discussed about the causes, economic and non-economic causes, and we also discussed about the consequences of these disputes or strikes within the industry. Today, we will be discussing about various mechanisms in order to settle the industrial disputes, my dear friends. Each and every country, remember, each and every country is trying to generate employment opportunities in the industrial sector as well as in the service sector. Industrialization will try to contribute for economical development by generating employment opportunities, by increasing the GDP of a nation. At the same time, it also increases the exports and contributes to the economic development of a particular nation, my dear friends. So, in each and every industry, my dear friends, because we are going to have different sections of people with different ambitions and different aspirations, my dear friends, it sometimes because of certain reasons, my dear friends, it may also lead to industrial disputes. And if you're going to have a dispute, my dear friends, at the time that organization cannot sustain for longer period, remember that there'll be plenty of issues, my dear friends. So it is the duty of the management to establish grievance readdressal system where people are going to convey their problems, and there will be some mechanism to address the disputes within the industry. So industrial peace. If the peace in the industry is disturbed, the production will be stopped, my dear friends, or else it may go down. As the production goes down, the availability of the product will not be there in the market, or else there may be less availability of the product. So, because there is shortage of products, it may lead to increase in the production cost, or else the customer has to keep more money in order to purchase the product because there'll be a huge demand for the products. That means the price of the commodity will also be increased. It may not be by the company, but it may be by the mediators, my dear friends, or else even the shopkeepers, because they want to encash the opportunity. As the production process has been affected, some of the workers may lose their employment, which may force them to lead a miserable life because of lack of income, my dear friends. It may increase poverty, it may increase social evils within the society, my dear friends. So our duty is to address these issues, my dear friends. There are two important methods to avoid the effects of disputes within the industry. First one is our duty is to prevent or take the measures to prevent industrial disputes. Preventing is better than curing. So first one is our duty is to prevent the industrial disputes. So, in order to prevent the disputes, my dear friends, we need to have joint consultation. Both the management as well as the workers are going to have this based on joint consultation, my dear friends. They can address the issue, my dear friends, well in advance. So, in some of the industries, we may have works committee, or else we may have joint management councils and so on in order to address or in order to prevent the issues which may come into arise, my dear friends. The second one, even we have certain mechanism, my dear friends, there may be sometimes there can be issues, my dear friends, which may not be addressed at the plant council or work committee and so on, my dear friends. So at that time, we are going to take certain measures in order to settle the industrial disputes. We have negotiation, conciliation, arbitration, as well as adjudication. These are the four methods by which we can settle the industrial disputes. So let us discuss about them in detail. There are various methods. However, we are going to discuss about only four methods. What are the beta? Collective bargaining or negotiation, conciliation, arbitration, and adjudication. The first one is negotiation or collective bargaining. This collective bargaining phrase has been coined by Sydney and Beatrice Webb of Great Britain. The idea of collective bargaining emerged as a result of industrial conflict and the growth of trade union movements. So, both the management as well as the workers, we are going to have two groups. One is the employer group, that is management, and the other one is employees. So, these two people, these two groups are going to come together and they are going to represent their process. They are going to send the representatives of both these groups, and both the people, both the teams are going to sit on the table, and this worker group or the employees are going to put forward all their demands, my dear friends, and the management representatives are going to sit together, and they're going to discuss friendly, and based on mutual consent, my dear friends, they'll try to address the issues, my dear friends. A manual was issued by the International Labour Office in the year 1960, which has defined that collective bargaining is a negotiation about working conditions and terms of employment between an employer and the group of employers, my dear friends. Okay, we are going to say that it depends on the terms of condition and working condition between the employer and the employees who are working in that organization, my dear friends. So both these parties are going to sit together, and they're going to come to an agreement, my dear friends. For example, when I was kid, like I've seen that in Warangal there were 41 ice cream factories. 41 ice cream factories where they used to sell 1 rupee ice cream, 5 rupee cup ice creams, like you must have seen the vending machines. So at the time, during 90s, like the summer was too hot, like, and all the bores and wells have been dried up, and there was shortage of water in Warangal. So at the time, the ice cream companies were making huge profits. Were making huge profits. So one year they have made huge margins, and there was also prediction that the next coming year also the summer will be too hot. So most of the companies, they want to encash more or make more profit. So they have gone from 12 vending machines to that of 30, 40 like. So now they have the vending machines. They have invested on vending machines. They also hired the employees to manufacture or prepare the ice creams. But there is a shortage of labor who will go and sell the product outside. They have 40 each company, around 40 companies with 40 vending machines. So altogether, you can imagine that they require 1,600 people to go and sell the product. So at that time, the commission which was given to the labor for selling the ice cream was 30. If he's going to sell an ice cream of worth 1 rupee, the workers will get 30 paisa. If they are going to sell the products of worth 100 rupees, they get a margin of 30 rupees, my dear friends. And out of 70 rupees, they have to take care of raw material. The company, the management has to take care of raw material expenditure, processing expenditure, labor expenditure is going to work to prepare the ice creams and so on, electricity bills, then paying the taxes to the government, then all these things, and then they have to make the margin. So now, because the labor came to know that there is a huge demand for the labor, now they started demanding more. They have put on the proposal saying that 50-50, no 70-30. They said 50-50. And all the management has said that, how come 40 for 50-50? With 50, you're making profit, but in this 50, we have to take care of all this expenditure. Like, then we don't get any peanuts. We don't get anything. We get not even peanuts. They said nothing doing, like we will not be able to do it. So now these workers, they started moving from one place to the other place. If you're not going to give, then I will go to the other company. After going and working there for 2 or 3 days, they also started putting the same one saying that, will you give 50-50 or else I'm going to the other company. So now what happened? Remember that, as Karl Marx has said that all the people, the workers, they want to satisfy their demands or like force the management to yield to the demands. But the same way, even the management will not come down. So even the 40 company owners who are there at Varangal, they came together and they have made some agreements. They said that, okay, how many employees are working in your organization? You give a list. And they put that list in front of all the people, and they have approved it. And then the second one is that if I'm going to hire a person, okay, that means you're not going to give employment for him. That was the second condition. If any person gives employment to the other workers who are working in the other organizations, then a penalty of 10,000 rupees will be imposed on that person or on the company. And then we are also going to create trouble for them. That was like some conditions was there. At last, do you know what happened? Because they are not getting any job to work in some other organizations, all the people have formed a union, and they also said that if you give 50-50, then only we'll work. Then at the time, what happened? All the workers as well as the management, because both of them were incurred losses. So all the management and the workers across the industries who are working in the ice cream factories, they came together and they sat together, and based on consensus, they negotiated saying that neither you are 50-50, neither 30-30. We'll stick on to 40-40, like 40-60. because we have to take care of all these things. And on negotiation or collective bargaining, my dear friends, all the companies have agreed to pay 40% commission to the workers at the time. Remember that. So here, two parties, management and the workers, they are going to sit together. They are going to place the issues, and based on consensus, based on negotiations, they are going to address the issues, my dear friends. It may be based on working conditions, terms of employment, wages, whatnot, my dear friends. Now let us discuss about the features of collective bargaining. The first feature is that it is a collective process. That means both the workers and the management, both the employer and the employees are going to participate in this process. May not be hundreds and thousands of people, at least representatives from both the sides. People from management side, maybe 5 or 10 people, and 5 or 10 people from the workers side, they may sit and they may discuss. So it is a collective process, remember that. The second one is it is a continuous process. It established regular and stable relation between the two groups, management and the workers, remember, for negotiation of the contracts. But also, they not only sit for negotiating, but also they sit together so that they can implement whatever the agreements have taken place, or whatever the terms of contract are there. They will also work on the implementation of the contract. Remember that it is a continuous process, not like they sit one time and then they will try to resolve. It is a continuous process. Whatever the contracts are there, they will also try to implement that. Third one, it is flexible as well as a dynamic process, because both the groups and both the groups, employer and employee, have a flexible approach throughout the process of bargaining. Throughout the process of bargaining, sometimes what happens, the workers may not feel comfortable with some of the members of the management or the representatives of management. So they may put on saying that we need to have a neutral person who can listen to both the versions, and they can. So it is a flexible. Sometimes some of the members from the union side can be changed. Some of the members from the management can also be changed, my dear friends. Remember, it is a flexible one. It is also a dynamic process. And the next one is it is the method of involving employees also in management. Why? Because when the employees are also going to know what the company is doing, what is its objective, why they are working, what are the pros and cons, what are the difficulties of the organization. When people know that, remember, people may try to work effectively. They may try to contribute for the welfare of the organization. So this is a method where we are also going to involve the people in the management process. And the last one is its main intention is to achieve and maintain discipline within the industry. So once people are aware of whatever it's there, so obviously what happens, they will come. And when people are going to, when the management is going to listen to the people, when management is going to take care of the concerns of the people, at the time, even people will also be happy with that. If the management is not going to listen to the people, if they are not going to allow them to express their feelings, at the time, these people may use unfair means also, my dear friends, remember that. So when give and take process is there, it may also try to establish industrial discipline, my dear friends, or else maintain. Now let us discuss about the process of collective bargaining. According to Memoria and Rao, they have mentioned about the process or 6 steps involved in terms of negotiation. The first one is preparation of negotiation. In this, the first step of both the parties are like they are going to prepare the terms and like the issues for negotiation. It is necessary for us to prepare what kind of issues we are going to discuss at a particular point of time, my dear friends, because there will be plenty of issues within the industry. And if you're going to bring all the issues at a time, it may not be addressed. The management may also may not be in a position to address the issues. So we are going to prepare a list of issues which have to be placed on the table and on which topic we are going to negotiate, my dear friends. So first one is preparation of negotiation. Second one is identifying and bargaining issues. So the major issues can be classified into 4 categories. Issues within the industry can be classified into 4 categories, my dear friends. The first issues are wage related issues. It may be wage rates, it may be the time rates for overtime. If people are going to work for a longer period beyond their working time, then at the time they may also demand more rates of more life. Then we also have allowances like DNS allowance, travel allowance, and so on, my dear friends. So whatever it's linked with the income, like we can link with wage related issues. Then we also have supplementary economical benefits, my dear friends. It may be just like pension plans, paid vacations, health insurance, paid holidays, and so on. So, most of the organizations, my dear friends, in order to look after the welfare of the people, my dear friends, they're also going to provide pension plans. Right now, we do not have a pension plan, my dear friends. We have contributory pension plan, my dear friends. The government right now, Congress government has said that if they are going to come into power, then they are thinking about introducing the old pension scheme, my dear friends. Old pension scheme, but right now, how much amount you are going to save based on that you are going to get after the retirement, my dear friends. But some companies are going to talk about pension plans. Some talk about paid vacation because the people are going to work spend more time within the office. They may not try to maintain a balance between the work life and the personal life. So, in order to ensure that they are going to reduce the fatigue levels, in order to strengthen the family relations, everything, they may also give paid vacations, my dear friends. That means you go to America trip or here and there, my dear friends. The company may also board the expenses for the entire family. All these things will be there. And beside this, we may also have health insurance or paid holidays and so on. The third issues are institutional issues, which are linked with rights and duties of the employees or employers, like what are the duties, what are the rights, what the people can enjoy, everything. Then we talk about the quality of work, life, and so on, my dear friends. So we call it as institutional issues, my dear friends. Then we also have other issues which are linked with administration. So we call them as administrative issues. It may be the matters of seniority because seniority is linked with promotions and so on. So the matters related with seniority, employee discipline, procedure for discharging the duties, quality of work life, and so on. So all this we call it as administrative issues. So Rao has they have identified four types of issues, my dear friends. So we are going to discuss about this. Okay. So first one is collective process. It is a continuous process. We have said it is a flexible one. And in terms of this bargaining, first step is to prepare the negotiation, identifying the bargaining issues. Once the issues are identified, the third point is negotiation. Once the bargaining issues are identified, the next step is nothing but negotiation. In this process, both the groups, the management and the workers, nothing but the employers and employees, will keep the demands forward, and through the negotiation process will go on till both the parties or the parties reach to an agreement, my dear friends. So the next step is reaching the agreement. All the time, remember, whatever the demands were kept on the table will not be accepted or may not be accepted because multiple factors, remember, because of multiple factors. Sometimes the demands may not be uh, legitimate also. So for that reason, what they do better, the management may come forward and say these are the issues we can solve instantly, and these issues we may postpone and later on we may discuss about that, or else we are going to appoint a committee to discuss on that. So they may also do that. So the fourth step is reaching the agreement. Once the parties, both the parties or groups have made a amicable decision, nothing but they are treating this as a mutually agreed one, then obviously what happens, whatever the agreement is there, that has to be put it on the paper, remember, and it has to be ratified. When both the groups come to an agreement, they have to put that, because it was only verbal, only through. So it was an informally agreed. So in order to make it approved, remember, the members, they are going to put it on a formalized contract, into a contract. The contract must be precise and clear. What are the terms on which they have agreed when they are going to implement it? All this must be specifically mentioned and it must be clear. Remember that. So ratifying the agreement, because both the parties are going to do the signature, then it will be sent to the management and the management is going to ratify it. Remember that. And the last one is administration of the agreement. That means after signing the agreement by both the parties, remember, the next step is to implement the agreement, which is the primary duty of the management or the employer, remember. So these are the 6 steps involved in terms of negotiation. Now we'll go for the second one, second method of in solving the industrial dispute, that is conciliation. It is one of the important methods for prevention and settlement of industrial dispute. In this process, both the employer and employees represent their demands before a third party. It's not between the two parties. When people are not in a position to address the issue within the management and the workers, at the time they are going to bring a third person or a third party who is known to both the parties and who is a neutral party. So, in front of the neutral party, my dear friends, they will try to persuade and arrive to an agreement through mutual discussions. So, we call this process as conciliation. It is described as a practice in which a natural third party is used as a means to help the disputing parties to reduce the differences or to come to an amicable settlement or agreed solutions. According to Industrial Dispute Act 1947, the state or the central government can appoint a conciliation officer in order to mediate between the disputing parties, my dear friends. And they may also try to address the issues, my dear friends. According to Section 12(2), Subclause 2 of the Act, Industrial Dispute Act, my dear friends, the conciliation officer can is supposed to follow certain procedures or follow any procedure which he or she thinks may be helpful in bringing both the disputing parties to a fair and amicable settlement of the dispute, my dear friends. The officer has the power to investigate on all the issues or matters pertaining to the industrial dispute, my dear friends. The conciliation board has the power of a civil court. Remember, according to the Code of Civil Procedure 1908, my dear friends, the conciliation board has the power of a civil court, and it allows the officer, this allows the officer, the conciliation officer, to enforce the attendance of any person and examine him on oath. So you can ask anyone from the management side or the worker side, and after the vote, my dear friends, he may also examine the person. Second one, compel the both the parties to provide relevant documents of evidence, because sometimes they may say that we have gone for so and so agreement and the workers are not following it, or else the workers may say that at the time of employing us they have said so and so but they are not implementing it. So at the time the conciliation officer may ask both the parties, where is the agreement or where is the contract, like you put that, so that based on the document I may see whether it's right or wrong and compel either of the parties to. So they may compel either of the parties to provide relevant evidence or information, my dear friends. And the third one is issue a commission for examination of witnesses. He can also issue a commission for examination of witnesses. So the conciliation officer can do all these three, my dear friends. So the conciliation officer is supposed to send a report to the concerned government, whether it's the state or the central government, doesn't matter. They are supposed to send a report, and the report of the settlement should be signed by both the parties. When they are going to come to a settlement, they are going to do the signature on the report, and that report, which is duly signed by both the parties, should be sent to the concerned government, state or central government. In case if none of the party is agreeing to the agreements, or they're not going to come to the consensus, at the time the conciliation officer is supposed to send a full report describing the reasons for the failure of settlement of the dispute, so that the government may take appropriate measures to settle the issue, my dear friends. Okay, so this about conciliation, my dear friends. The third method to address the industrial dispute is arbitration. It is a process in which a neutral third party studies the demand or issues by put forth by both the parties and gathers all relevant information and makes a decision, which is usually binding by both the parties. Here, a third person is going to be brought into the demand where he is known to both the parties, my dear friends. And whatever the decision is given by this arbitrative officer, he is going to be abided by both the parties, my dear friends. So arbitration is of two types, remember. One is voluntary arbitration and the other one is compulsory arbitration. Let us discuss about voluntary arbitration. In the industry, when both the parties fail to resolve their differences by themselves or with the help of conciliator, at the time they try to submit the problem or issue voluntarily to an impartial authority whose decision will be acceptable to both the parties, then we call it as voluntary arbitration. So with both the parties are going to voluntarily ask a third person to mediate between them, my dear friends. Now let us discuss about the ingredients of this voluntary arbitration. First thing is that there must be a dispute. A third party arises only when a dispute exists. Remember that. Second one is voluntary submission of the dispute to the arbitrator. They are not going to force anyone to go and ask someone to come and mediate, my dear friends. Both the parties voluntary. They go to a person and say that you have to come and mediate between us. You must have seen in the families also sometimes you must have seen both the spouses will be fighting with each other. At the time, what happens? Both these people may go to neither of the parents. They may ask someone who is known to both the parties and who is the neutral one to come and say, "This is what my husband is doing, or this is what my wife is doing." And whatever you say, that is right. We are going to stick on to that. So you must have also seen that some people, because my parents support me and my wife's parents may support the lady. So what we are going to do, neither their parents, neither mine, we are going to a person who is third neutral one and who is also known to both of us. So we go and express our concerns in order to resolve the issues. Remember, so first one is there must be an industrial dispute. Second one is that there must be voluntary submission of the dispute to an arbitrator. The third one is the agreements must be in writing. Whatever the agreement is happening, that must be on writing, my dear friends. Because even tomorrow, if there is any evidence, the oral thing will not work. Remember that. So any agreement, anything, it must be on pen and paper, duly signed by both the parties. The last one is acceptance of decision given by the arbitrator. But it is not compulsory. It is not compulsory that both the parties have to accept it. It depends on the terms and conditions. Remember that. So there are four things. First one is dispute must be there, voluntary submission of the dispute, agreement must be on writing, and whatever the decision is there, that is acceptable by both the parties. So the government of India has appointed a National Arbitration Promotion Board in on July 1967. So, in order to make voluntary arbitration more acceptable by both the parties, so the board will review all the issues periodically and examine the factors and can also suggest certain measures to resolve the disputes, my dear friends. The board will develop principles, norms, procedures which guide both the arbitrator as well as the parties, the employer and the employees, my dear friends. They also advise both the parties on important cases for amicable settlement of the disputes, my dear friends. So this about voluntary arbitration. Then what is this compulsory arbitration? When both the parties fails to address their issues or problems through voluntary arbitration, the government may force the parties to go for compulsory arbitration. The government themselves, the government may force the parties to go for compulsory arbitration, my dear friends. The government at the time of national emergency or when the country is passing through economic crisis or grave public dissatisfaction on the existing industrial relations or in the interest of the public or for the interest of the workers, my dear friends, they may force both the parties, the employer and the employee, to go for compulsory arbitration. The government considers whether an industrial dispute exists or is apprehended within the industry. It may, by order, refer the issue to the conciliation board also, my dear friends, if it is not done through arbitration. The next one is next way of resolving the industrial dispute is adjudication. When all the three methods, negotiation or collective bargaining, arbitration, conciliation, when all these three fail, then at that time, this issue will be referred to adjudication, nothing but to the court. It means a mandatory settlement of the dispute by labor courts or industrial tribunals or national tribunals. Once the government refers the issue to the adjudication, the award is binding by both the parties. They cannot say that it is not acceptable for us. Once the court gives the decision, then both the parties have to simply accept it. There is no option for them to reject it, my dear friends, in most of the cases. That means they may go from one court to the other court. We have this adjudication at the three-tier level, my dear friends. According to the Industrial Dispute Act 1947, it provides a three-tier system of adjudication. The first one is labor courts, second one is industrial tribunals, third one is national tribunals. Now let us discuss about labor courts. The government may constitute one or more labor courts for settling industrial disputes. The labor court consists of a person who is or has been the judge of the High Court or the judge of a district court for a period of 3 years, or held any judicial office in India for a period of 7 years. So the government is going to appoint a judge, okay, appoint a person for the labor courts who has served as a judge of a high court or a district court for minimum period of 3 years, my dear friends, or held any judicial office in India for a period of 7 years. The duty of the labor court is to hold the adjudication process in a fair as well as quick manner and submit the award to the appropriate government after the report or after the conclusion is done. The court will try to resolve the issues which are related with legality of the orders, application and interpretation of orders, discharge or dismissal of workers in a wrongful way, granting relief to the workers, illegality of strikes and lockouts, and so on. So the labor code is going to resolve the issues pertaining to these five aspects, my dear friends. One is legality of the orders, whatever the order they have given, whether it's right or wrong, whether it can be challenged or not, my dear friends, and whether how you're going to interpret the orders, everything. Then whether once a person has been appointed, on what terms you're going to remove the person. Like we are going to do all these things, and the worker can go to the can go to the labor courts on these issues, my dear friends. Then the second way is industrial tribunals. According to Dispute Act 1947, according to Schedule 2nd and 3rd, the government can also appoint one or more industrial tribunals for adjudication of the disputes, my dear friends. The new demands put forth by the employees and or workers which are not referred in the contract while hiring can be referred to the industrial tribunals. Whatever is there in the order, my dear friends, we are going to take it. Sorry. We are going to take it to the labor courts, whereas whatever the terms and conditions which are not there when the new demands come, these demands can be taken to the industrial tribunals, my dear friends. Okay. The industrial tribunals can be appointed on a temporary or a permanent basis also, my dear friends. It depends on the issue, my dear friends. It is based on the requirement. The industrial tribunal consists of one or more persons who has been the judge of the High Court or the judge of a district court for a period of 3 years, or held any office as the chairman or held the office as the chairman of any other member of labor appellate tribunal or any tribunal for not less than 2 years. In the earlier one, we said if any person is going to be working as having any judicial office for a period of 7 years, then they can be appointed for the labor courts. But here we are going to say that a district court judge or a high court judge who served for a tenure of 3 years, or a person who has acted as the chairman of labor appellate tribunals or any tribunal for not less than 2 years may be appointed for the industrial tribunal, my dear friends. The industrial tribunal takes up the issues related with wages, compensation, allowances, working hours, rest intervals, leaves and holidays, bonus, PF, gratuity fund, rules of discipline, rationalization, closure of industry, and so on, my dear friends. So on. For example, for example, at the time of appointment, the management may tell that they are hiring me with a package of 1,000 rupees. And they did not give any increment for the past 5 years. So I may go and say that the cost of living is increasing, the expenditure level is increasing, and the wages which we are receiving is not sufficient. Actually, in the contract, they said that they are going to pay me only 1,000 rupees. But here, because the inflation is increasing like anything, at the time, I'm going to ask them, request them to increase my salary, or else I'm going on strike, demanding for higher wages, which the terms are not included in the order, my dear friends. So whatever is not included, my dear friends, we can also go on that. That may be working hours because it will not be mentioned in the order that they are going to say that they are appointing Bhavani Shankar as so and so in so and so office with the payment of so and so. That's it. They are not going to talk about working conditions. They're not going to talk about leaves. They're not going to talk about anything. So they are going to have certain policies. Based on the policies, they are going to implement that, my dear friends. So I may also go to the labor tribunal for this, sorry, industrial tribunal for addressing these issues, my dear friends. Then we also have the third tier, that is the national tribunal. The central government may appoint national tribunal by notification in the official gazette to adjudicate the industrial disputes. The government may appoint on issues of national interest or on industrial disputes where the plants are established in different regions in the state or a country. For example, think we right now there are problems within the electricity department. Now we have the electricity department both in Telangana, AP, across the country, my dear friends. So at that time, we are going to have a national tribunal which will try to address the industrial disputes of maybe one nation, one industry, or all the industries with the same activity, my dear friends. The national tribunal. 1 minute, guys. Sorry, guys. Okay. Um, so we have said that the industrial national tribunal is going to have a national tribunal which consists of one person who may be a judge, like we have discussed. Like so, if we are going to have the issues of the industries with the same activity, my dear friends, they can have this national tribunal. When the government has deferred the dispute for adjudication to the labor court, industrial tribunal, or national tribunal, within 2 weeks from the date of receipt of the orders, both the parties have to file their issues. Remember that. In all the three areas, like whenever a tribunal, labor court, or issue has been adjudicated, within 2 weeks, both the parties have to file their issues. The copy of statements, like the workers, they are going to give the copy about their issues, and the management is also going to put on their issues, and both the copies will be exchanged. The opposite party is required to file their responses within 2 weeks from the receipt of copy of statement. Within 2 weeks, they are going to give 2 weeks time for them to read the document thoroughly, which is given by the opposition party, and give or file their responses on that. After examining the witnesses and document evidences, my dear friends, either the labor court, the national tribunal, or the industrial tribunal may record their decisions or verdict and send a copy to the respective government, so that the government is going to see the report, and based on the report, my dear friends, they may design certain policies or address the issues, my dear friends. So these are the four ways by which, sorry, three ways by which we are going to solve the issues, industrial disputes through adjudication, my dear friends. So there are four ways by which we can address the issues. There are negotiation, conciliation, arbitration, as well as adjudication. Now let us discuss about some of the measures to be taken in order to maintain industrial peace, my dear friends. The first one is design proper wage and incentive policies. You cannot have a fixed wage, my dear friends, because as our duty is to give promotions to them, so that means you're going to give some financial benefits for them. So we need to have a proper wage policy and the same incentive policy also, my dear friends. So once this policy is designed, my dear friends, even the workers and the management will not have any major issues. The second one is provide proper working conditions for the workers. If the conditions are not good enough, my dear friends, the people will not be able to work effectively because it increases the fatigue level, or else the working conditions may not be good. If we see in some of the software industries in America, the top 10 industries, do you know they ask the employees to work for 8 hours? The office timings are not just like 9 to 5, my dear friends. They say that from morning 00 hours till midnight 24 hours. So you, at any point of time, my dear friends, at any point of time, you can you can work. At any point of time, you can work. So do you know within the office place, within the office space, my dear friends, if the person is tired, if the person is not having the mental condition to work, like if he's not feeling to work, like so at the time they have to, because if they're sitting on the computer, they will not do any work because they're not mentally suitable at the time. The conditions are not suitable, so they have provided them the space where they can go and relax, even sleep. They also have continental chicken or Indian, sorry, continental kitchen and Indian place where they can go and cook the food. They are having the chefs. If they want, they can order the food, or else they can go and cook the food on their own. They don't like even eating, like they like playing. So they also have the indoor games as well as the outdoor games, so that they can go play and relax and come, my dear friends. And if they want to booze, they want to sleep, they want to play, they want to do anything. They are free to do anything, but they have to work only for 8 hours from morning 00 hours to night 24 hours, my dear friends, so that they will work in a proper way, in a constructive way. That is their concept, my dear friends. So we are going to provide proper working conditions, ensure that they have proper illumination system, lighting system, they have um, proper ventilation, proper water facility, drinking water facility, facilities like toilets, and so on. Our duty is to provide proper working conditions so that they work effectively. For example, think if the toilets are very very far away, that means they have to go and come. It is going to wastage the waste of time. So obviously what happens, my dear friends, some of the production may also come down, or else the fatigue levels may also increase, my dear friends, because the supervisor may scold the worker that you're taking a lot of time even for going and drinking the water, or for something like. So our duty is to ensure that they are not very like close, but at least comfortable places, my dear friends. The third one is our duty is to provide welfare activities like providing health facilities for the people. In some areas, do you know what they are doing? They're also providing the facility like pick and drop also, and they are putting that under welfare activities. Why? Is it a welfare activity? Why we have to pick the employee and drop them back at home? Because think, for example, I have to travel 20 kilometers in order to reach the office. So if I'm going to come on my bike, so I must be very, very cautious on the road. And obviously the traffic congestion may also increase the fatigue levels. So once I reach office, after reaching the office at the instant, I will not stop working. I will take some time in order to relax, release my pressure, and then go on working. So that means some of the time is wasted. For example, think there are 100 employees in an industry, and 100 employees are going to waste at least half an hour in a day. Not much, at least half an hour in a day. They may put on the computer, but they will not be doing any much activity. That means half an hour into 100 people. That means how many hours better? They are going to waste 50 hours, 30 minutes, 30 minutes. Two people, 1 hour. Likewise, 50 hours of work is being wasted. 50 hours of work means one individual will be working for 40 hours in a week. 8 hours per day, 5 8s of 40. That means one person every day they are going to lose 1 week's work of an individual. Every day 50 hours means per month. Remember, 24 working days, at least 24 working days or 20 working days into 50 hours. Remember, it goes to how much beta? 1,000 hours. 50 into 20. 20 days into 50 hours per day. It goes to 1,000 hours. 1,000 hours, remember how much will be the salary. So for that reason, do you know what they have done? They want to save that money. If they are going to bring 100 people, they require only two buses. And in order to do that, maybe 1,000 rupees per day, picking and dropping them, 1,000 rupees into 30 days or 20 days, it goes to how much beta? 60,000. But if you see in terms of calculating that, 1,000 hours means one person is going to work for 160 hours in a month. 160,000 divided by 160, it goes to 8 people's salary, approximately 8 people's salary. In the software industry, my dear friends, each person, their salary may be 40,000 to that of 5 lakhs also per month. If you are going to take the example of a least person, average person, 1 lakh, 8 people into 1 lakh, it goes to 8 lakh. Which one is better? Providing pick and drop facility and bearing the expenditure of 60,000 to 1 lakh, or losing an salary of 8 lakh rupees? So it depends. So our duty is to provide welfare activities for the people. In some organizations, they also have like tours, family get-togethers, and so on, so that it will provide the harmony within the industry among the workers, and also helps the family members to come together and enjoy, my dear friends. The fourth one is our duty is also to provide an opportunity to enhance the skills of the workers. So, like we have on the job trainings, or sometimes we are going to pay them. We ask them or we encourage them to go to the other training centers and acquire the skills so that they can come and work effectively within the organization. If the skills of the individual is not enhanced, remember that. That means the people are outdated. That means the company will not prosper. It is the duty, it is the responsibility of the industry to provide the opportunity for the individuals to go for training. Sometimes you can provide the training at the industry itself. If required, you have to pay them, pay the wages, pay the fees, and also encourage them to attend the training programs, my dear friends, because this is going to contribute for the industrial growth. The next one is provide recreation facilities. When I was working for an organization in an engineering college, because we are from we have left the families and we are staying long away, and even our mother tongue is Telugu. We are starting working in Maharashtra. Their culture, their lifestyle is entirely different than that of ours. So in order to kill the boredom, in order to bring the people, in order to ensure that we are not missing our home life, they used to provide us recreational facilities. We used to have a staff club where we used to they have provided a television, then they have provided a table tennis board. Then they also allowed us to also play cards, not for money, like it's only for entertainment, uh, playing schedule. We have certain facilities. And on weekends, my dear friends, all the teachers, they used to pull up the money, and they also used to go for picnics here and there. So collectively, we used to do that so that we used to kill the boredom and so on, my dear friends. So it is the duty of the organization to also provide recreational facilities, my dear friends. And then we also have to provide an opportunity for enhancing their status, because each and every person, they want to elevate their status. So they want to get promotions, they want to get some incentives or bonuses, so and so. So if the industry is not going to provide an opportunity, so obviously people get sick of that, and people will be looking for opportunities in the other industries also. If a person is going to shift, you can say, okay, I will hire some other person, but during that time there will be no person, so you have to give the advertisement, recruit the person, and that person may have the skills or not. So at the time, again, you have to invest the money on training of the person and so on. So during that period of absence of worker, maybe 1 week, 1 month, or 2 months, my dear friends, the activity will be reduced. That means the company may incur losses. So sometimes we have to involve the people, provide the opportunities for the people to enhance their status or getting promotions and so on, my dear friends. Then I'll give one example. One of my friends used to work for a Marriott hotel. He started his career as a steward and later on he has become the manager of the hotel. In that, if you go to Marriott Hotel, my dear friends, there are seven hotels in seven floors, my dear friends. And on the other side also, they have constructed a extension block of Marriott Hotel. So to one block has been given the position as a manager, and they have given him the highest package in Hyderabad itself. And now, after 3 years, there was no increment, no status, nothing like. So the manager, he was feeling bored because no hike in the salary, and that was the highest one. That was a stagnant one. So now they want to give some benefits. So for that reason, they asked my friend. They asked him to go to Delhi, Gurgaon. There's Marriott Hotel there. There you'll get the highest package, same manager designation, but there you'll get the highest package. You go and serve there for 2 years. Later on, after 2 years, you put on the transfer to Hyderabad. So at the time, again, you'll get the same salary. So your salary will be increased. If you're going to work in the same Marriott Hotel in Hyderabad, my dear friends, your salary will be the same, your position will be the same. So at the time, even my friend was willing to shift from one place to the other place. So he got the job at Gurgaon in Marriott Hotel, where his salary was increased to 4 lakhs per month, plus perks and so, all the benefits. So our duty is to look for creating the opportunities and providing the opportunity for the individual so that their status will increase, my dear friends. Next one is involve participation of workers in management. So when workers are involved, they know each and everything in and out of organization, how much profits are coming, how much money is being generated, how they are being distributed, what kind of benefits they are getting, everything they know in and out. That means the people will be working effectively, my dear friends. Involve participation of workers in management. And the last one is whenever there are any issues, whenever there are any disputes within the industry, first thing is that our duty is to prevent it from the issues being arise. Sometimes, if the issues come, our duty is to ensure that the issues are resolved at the earliest. So we need speedy redressal cell for addressing the issues of the workers, my dear friends. This way, we can address the industrial disputes and we can provide harmony or peace within the industry. As the peace exists, remember that the industry will also prosper, even the workers will also prosper, and the society at large will be happy, my dear friends. Because if there is shortage of resources or shortage of products, obviously there will be demand for the products, and the customers will obviously put on pressure. They have to pay huge prices in order to get the same product which they used to get at the cheaper price earlier. So our duty is to resolve the issues on time so that the management, the workers, and society at large may not face the problems, my dear friends. So there is a need for the management, there's a need for the society at large, there is a need for the political leaders also to address the issues, take part in order to address the issues on time, my dear friends. This is about addressing industrial disputes, my dear friends. If you are having any problems, my dear friends, you're free to ask. If there's nothing, then we are going to conclude better for today, and we'll have the class tomorrow. Have a nice day.